Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be working on 2017 Lexus IS200t and I'll be replacing rear wheel bearing hub assembly. And the reason why I'm doing this video is there one nuance that made this job so much harder than I thought it would be. And after learning those nuances, I want to share them with you guys because I searched YouTube everywhere and I couldn't find those little details. And that nuance is the little dust deflector that goes on the backside of the wheel bearing hub assembly. I'll share with you what worked for me and how I was able to press it back on there so you guys can have easier time replacing this. This is a rear wheel drive Lexus. I'll quickly show you how to disassemble suspension, remove this thing, and how to press it back in. And another tool I highly recommend using for this job is the hub puller. This goes over your hub and presses out the axle. I rented this tool for $30 at O'Reilly's Auto Parts. I'll bring it back to them and they'll give me a full refund. All right, let's get to the video, guys. First thing, jack up the car. Got it. First thing, you'll need to remove this brake caliper, ABS sensor, then detach this control arm, this control arm, this control arm, then loosen up the strut bolt. Then you'll be able to undo this bolt, as well as you'll need to undo this lower control arm bolt. After you'll do all of that, you'll be able to push this axle out and the whole hub is gonna come out. Now let's remove the brake caliper. Whew. Remove the caliper. Remove the rotor. There's also parking brake cable and you'll need to pull that spring, flip this open and the cable will come out. Then you'll need to undo this little nut and this cable housing will slide out, freeing up this whole thing. Okay, let's pull the spring back. Bam, spring is removed. Now you'll be able to open this up and remove this metal part. Here you have the cable. Now let's undo that 10mm nut on the back side. Now this parking brake cable should come right out. Bam, done deal. Next thing is ABS sensor. 10mm bolt. ABS sensor removed. Now ABS sensor wire bracket. Now just move this whole wire out of the way. Now let's remove upper control arm. There's gonna be a nut and a washer. Should come right out. Bam. Now let's remove this bolt from this upper control arm. Bam, came right out. Now this control arm. Tap it very lightly. Once we're gonna free up the rest of the control arms, it will pop out. Before we remove bottom two control arms, let's remove the axle nut. First, open this up. Take a 32mm socket and go for it. Done deal. I'll be reusing this. Should be perfectly fine. Now we have two control arms left. This one and this one. When you're going to be torquing this bolt, you're not going to be torquing it from the nut side because nut is going to be pressed against the aluminum and it's going to be fixed and you're going to be torquing it from this side. To remove this bolt, we'll need to loosen up this strut. Very last bolt is out. We're ready to pull this hub off the axle and I'm gonna use this tool. This tool is amazing. Don't try hitting this axle with the sledgehammer. You're gonna mess up the threads and you're gonna have to buy a new axle. An axle is $900. That's insane. Make sure everything is completely free. Nothing is holding it back. Let's try and slide it out. Perfect. And this is your dust deflector. This dust deflector is the biggest pain in the butt and what caused me a lot of problems. So our next step is to remove this wheel bearing hub assembly. And to do that, you'll need to remove these 4 bolts. Bearing hub assembly is gonna slide out, detaching this dust deflector. 1, 2. I'm also gonna remove this parking brake pad to make things easier and have more room to work on it. It's spring loaded. You just put it in and twist it to lock it. It sits like that. To unlock it, it sits like this. So now you can remove that. Yeah, this dust deflector will not want to let you pull it out, so you kind of have to hit it a couple of times like so. Bam. And this is your dust deflector. This dust deflector is the only reason why I have decided to make this video, because this took me so much time and effort. Once I have reinstalled this wheel bearing, I have tried pressing this in here and it didn't happen. I even put this wheel bearing in my freezer overnight for like 10 hours, and I hit this dust deflector up really hot thinking this is gonna shrink, this is gonna expand, and I was gonna slide it over. It didn't happen. I just ended up damaging it. So then I bought a new dust deflector, went to a professional Toyota dealer mechanic, and he damaged it. This is what it's supposed to look like, and that's what it looks like now. He legit just collapsed it. So I went to Lexus and I asked Lexus to press it in for me. So they charged me 190 bucks, but they pressed it in for me and it worked really well. You won't be able to press this in yourself. I promise you, don't waste your time. And this is the most painful part of replacing this wheel bearing. And some people might say, dude, this is waste of money and time. Just throw this dust deflector away, you don't need it. Well, since it's on here, I want to have it back on here because it protects the wheel bearing from unnecessary dust and debris. This will just make your wheel bearing last longer. There's a reason why it's here, so I say you must have this on here. All right, let's reinstall this wheel bearing. Bam. Next thing is 4 bolts, and you have to set them on red Loctite. Let's tighten all these bolts. I'm not torquing them down, it's metal to metal. I want to show you guys this up close. This has to go over this. It's so perfect that there's no way you can get it on there yourself. Now I'm gonna head to Lexus dealer, have them press this in, and I'll reinstall everything. On my way to Lexus dealer, driving through Portland, Oregon. This city needs help, help it. Just pulled up to Lexus dealer. Let's drop some dough. I just came back from a Lexus dealer. You can see how they pressed in the dust deflector. Looks nice and clean. The whole process took me about an hour and 40 minutes. Now I'm ready to start assembling everything and torquing everything down. If you're just gonna torque it out by feel, if you over tighten it because you're dealing with rubber bushings, you'll end up ruining them. Brake calipers are 77. Hub nut is 77 foot-pound. This one is 55 foot-pound. This upper one is 80 foot-pound. Strut is 80 foot-pound, and this one is 80 foot-pound as well. This front lower control arm is 55 foot-pound. Upper front control arm is 55 foot-pound. I'll apply some grease. Now let's go ahead and slide this hub assembly. Take a little bit of finagling to get everything in. Secure upper control arm. The other upper control arm bolt. Now I'll take the parking brake cable and try to fish it in here. It's sticking out. Perfect. Before you're gonna start attaching lower control arms, let's get the hub nut on here. Axle nut is on there. Now I'll reinstall the ABS sensor and ABS sensor bolt. Okay, upper mounting bracket, lower mounting bracket. Now lower control arm bolt. Little guy. Great. Now the last control arm bolt. Done. Now you're gonna start torquing everything down, but before we do that, set a jack stand underneath here and make sure car is at its natural right height. So I'm gonna lower down the car. Oops. Now suspension is at its neutral right height. All right, I'm gonna start torquing everything down. 81 foot-pound, 57, 52, 55, done. Done. So I have just finished torquing all the control arms down. Next step is to assemble the parking brake pads. Get the pin in here, pad, spring. First one in. Just got this cable situated in there. Now let's get this. Great. Now we'll need to stretch this spring. Bam. Now let's install this spring in here. Got it. Now I'll press and depress the parking brake. Make sure the pads are actually moving. Pads are moving. Perfect. Last but not least, brake caliper. Brake caliper bolt, 77 foot-pound. 77. Done. Now I'm gonna install the wheel, torque down the hub nut, and I'm done. $77. Done. Done deal. I'm done. Just finished replacing this wheel bearing. Highly recommend renting this tool, hub puller. This will save you so much time, as well as having this impact gun. And make sure you find your local Lexus dealer and have them press this in. This will save you so much time and hassle. Guys, thank you for watching this video, and I really hope you found this video helpful. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this video, and if you guys have any comments or ideas, leave them below. I'll respond to every comment. May God bless you, and until next time.